Welcome to some new r/I do work here lady stories. I hope you had a great day. The first story is called I Don't Want His Help. When I was little, I spent a lot of time with my grandmother and aunt because my mom worked. I'm a pretty good cook and I can sew, well enough to make clothes even. Fast forward to when I was in college. I was dating a girl who was taking theater classes and so spent a lot of time with the theater students. I even ended up working on several plays. I spent so much time in the local fabric store that the manager, a really great lady named Jane, offered me a job. So, wanting to have a little spending money, I took it, with the agreement that the store would schedule me around classes and such. I enjoyed that job, partly for the 20% employee discount and partly because I really had nothing strenuous to do, other than occasionally unloading a truck. Over the course of the first couple of months there, I made several outfits, things like dresses, jackets, etc. that Jane put up on display in the store. One fine Friday morning, I was in the back of the store, putting up patterns and folding remnants, when this Karen walked by, huffing and pointedly looking around the store. Now, I had on the store's ugly purple apron and a bright yellow name tag, along with the scissors in my belt, and was actively filing patterns. I had asked her twice if she needed any help. The first time, she just said no. And the second time she scoffed at me, saying that she was looking for some help from someone who knows how to sew, not some stock boy. So I finished putting up patterns and started going around the store folding things, inching my way toward the front of the store where Jane was. This Karen finally marched up front and loudly said to Jane, "I've been wandering around the store for a half hour looking for some help. Why haven't you come to help me? My daughter is getting married, I'm making her wedding gown, and I need some help." So Jane picked up the microphone and paged me. I went over and she asked me what I had been doing that I wasn't helping the customers. But Karen sneered, "I don't want his help, he doesn't know anything about real sewing, he's just a stock boy." To which Jane replied, "Ma'am, take a good look around you. Every single outfit and dress we have on display in the store, including the wedding gown behind you, he made. I can't even thread a needle, so if you want someone to help you with anything sewing related, he's your guy." Karen's mouth fell open and I said, "Well, Jane, I have an exam in 30 minutes, so I'm clocking out for the day. See you Monday." Karen's mouth fell open. Jane wished me luck on my test, took my apron and I left. I never did find out if that Karen figured out what to do with that wedding dress. The next story is called My Brother's Lover. This story happened a few days ago. My older brother owns several restaurants in different states. Since many of them are far away, he has rarely visited them since their opening. One of the restaurants is a bit further away than the others. We have to spend 12 hours driving to get there, so my brother only visited that restaurant 4 to 5 times in a year since its opening. Plus, with the C-19 situation, he couldn't afford to go there for a whole year. He passed all the work for the restaurant, including all the management, hiring and accounting, to the manager, who apparently was one of the family friends who lives near the restaurant. One day, my brother asked me to go to that restaurant. Since it is my vacation days and I was bored at home doing nothing, I usually spend a week for a vacation just to be lazy at home doing nothing. I agreed to go there and book a flight. Because of 2020, the ticket price is cheaper and I don't wanna waste my time and energy driving. I arrived there, I rented a car and went straight to the restaurant. I called the manager earlier to inform him about my visit. Brian, the manager, welcomed me and brought me to my brother's office. Usually the office is locked and only my brother and Brian own the key to the office. There's a letter hole at the door where the staff can put in their complaints about the restaurant to my brother without worrying about being known by others. There were many complaints from that and I collected them to read. Brian left me in the office and he went out to do his work. I spent some time reading the complaints and restaurant reports in the office. Suddenly, a girl, 30-ish, appeared at the door with a face like someone just mocked her ancestors. She is a blondie, and her lips and cheeks obviously just got stung by bees. Let's call her Swollen Karen. "Who are you? Nobody is allowed to be here." I told her my name and she interrupted me before I could say anything else. "Are you a thief? Are you trying to steal from this restaurant?" "Thief? I don't know there's a thief who would name themselves to others. I'm the little sister of the owner. Don't lie, as if I will believe a thief. Leave now or I will call the cops." "Ma'am, I'm not lying here. You can ask Brian. I'm really..." "Ma'am, don't you dare to insult me. I'm still young." Well, with her bee-stung lips and cheeks, she does look older. "Please call Brian here. He knows that I'm the owner's sister." "No need to call Brian. You're obviously a scammer and a thief. I know the owner's whole family. I'm his girlfriend." Honestly, my jaw dropped on the floor hearing that claim. I couldn't remember the exact exchange after that, but the whole points were that I was trying to convince her that I am who I am, and her argument was that I am a thief and a scammer. Several workers overheard our argument, but they could only watch since no one in the restaurant knew my face except Brian. Some of them tried to argue with Swollen Karen, explaining that I had to be the sister as I had a key to the office, but they got shown by Swollen Karen. She said that she knows that I'm not the sister since she is my brother's girlfriend and she knows our whole family. And later she claimed that she is my brother's fiancée. Girl, my brother is a married man with 2 kids. I tried to call Brian to sort the situation, but unfortunately he was out from the restaurant for several matters outside. Swollen Karen threatened to call cops unless I left the office. I didn't want to escalate the situation further, so I decided to leave the restaurant and waited for Brian, who rushed back to the restaurant. Brian arrived and I told him the whole situation. His face was pale and he profusely apologized to me. We both returned to the restaurant and it was Swollen Karen's turn to drop her jar on the floor. I asked Brian to close the restaurant for a while since I need to sort the situation out. Luckily, no customers dines in the restaurant at the moment. We only do takeouts and online orders. She screamed like a banshee while calling me liar, scammer, thief, robber and every criminal occupation that she knows. Damn, I'm so busy with that many jobs at once. She showed the picture of her and my brother from the high school era to support her claim and proceed to condemn my existence. Brian took out our family picture that is in the owner's office and pointed to my grinning face in the portrait. Since that portrait is in the owner's office, which is kept locked until now, she never saw that picture. Swollen Karen, you claim that you are my brother's lover since high school. However, I know all of his ex-girlfriends, from his first until now, who is now his beloved wife. He didn't have many lovers since he is very loyal to his partners and our family knows each of his lovers. That picture that you show? I know it was from the prom night, where he was crowned as the prom king. Guess how many girls took pictures with him at that night alone? All the staff members that believed that she is the owner's girlfriend now realized her lie. So you are not the owner's girlfriend? You said you went on vacation with his family. That is a lie. If it's true, why don't you recognize his sister? What about those rose bouquets that you received every month and you said it was from him? Well, Brian, I don't think my brother likes if his beloved has to dirty her hands working here. What do you think? Swollen Karen left all huffy-puffy, realizing that I just fired her. I called my brother and told him the whole story. Brian said he actually believed her claim after Swollen Karen showed him the picture of her and my brother in high school. Meanwhile, my brother didn't even know that Brian hired her. And in fact, my brother couldn't even remember her name at all since it has been over 15 years since he graduated from high school. Well, I know my brother's taste in women and she is the perfect definition of the complete opposite of his taste. Plus, I know how obsessed he is with his own wife. After I returned home, my brother told me that a girl called him. She said she wanted to sue the restaurant for mistreatment against the employee, harassment, slander and character defamation and assault. Right now, we are in the middle of collecting evidence against her, including CCTV, witnesses from the staff and the complaints that I received from the letter hole at the office. The recording of her pushing me to the restaurant's door is clearly shown on the CCTV. So, who assaulted who? Many of the staff hate her arrogance, but didn't dare to say anything to her face because of her claim. Because of that, it is like a norm to write complaints every time they've been bullied by her and send them to the letter hole. Since the complaint doesn't include names and the owner never comes, they thought nothing about it. Oh, that bouquet of roses that my brother sent to her every month? We found out that it comes from a flower shop near her house. She placed the order at the shop and asked them to send it to her at the restaurant. The third story is called Can't Let You In. This happened in 2015. I was managing the hotel packages for Aftershock as well as several other musical festivals. In addition to working with the hotels to make sure everyone has a room with fluffy pillows etc., the job involves distributing tickets, wristbands, swag, merch vouchers etc. Also lots of questions via text and email. Because I interface with the fans, my email and phone number were at the bottom of the festival website. In fact, my number was the only one listed on the site and my email was one of only 3 listed. This often caused me grief because I got all sorts of crazy questions that had nothing to do with my job. Many of them had nothing to do with anything festival related at all. The cool thing about this job is that my work is always 80 to 95% done by the time the show starts, so I was free to enjoy the festival. This particular year we went from lanyards to closed wristbands for our credentials, which allowed us to go into production areas and backstage, etc. Fans got bands that said General Admission or VIP. Vendors got ones that said Vendor. Save for guests, media, production staff, etc. Well, they ran out of the nice cloth production wristbands, so they gave me a volunteer wristband. It was plastic, pink and sparkly, and I didn't really care because it got me everywhere I needed or wanted to be, just like anyone else working the show. Well, Sunday night comes, and I'm hanging out with some friends who work the box office. They asked if I was heading to production and would I mind taking this huge stack of tickets and merch vouchers back there. I agreed and stuffed about 250k worth of paper into my backpack and headed that way. Well, when the headliners go on, we pretty much lock down the backstage entrances. If you are already in, you can stay. Production staff, artists, etc. are allowed in, but not the bearers of the pink sparkly volunteer wristbands. So I'm at the entrance to the backstage area and the guard is like, you can't go in there. I'm trying to tell him that I'm working the show and I absolutely have to get the stuff back to the production office. He's not having it because I'm obviously just a pink sparkly volunteer trying to get backstage to meet Slipknot or something. So I pull out my phone and I'm calling my coworkers, trying to get someone to meet me to pick up the tickets and stuff, but they aren't answering. The guard is cool, but he has his orders, so I wasn't mad at him. He said, if you can get someone on the phone and I can verify that they work for Aftershock, I'll let you in. Then it hits me. I asked if he had a smartphone with him. He did, but he wasn't eager to pull it out when he was supposed to be working. So I pulled out my personal phone and went to the Aftershock website and handed it to him. I had him scroll down and find the only phone number on the page and asked him to call it and asked them if they can authorize me to get backstage. He calls the number and the business phone in my other pocket rings. I answered and said, you can let that guy in. The look on his face was priceless. I asked if he was satisfied and he wasn't sure what to say, so I offered double or nothing. I said, if you scroll down to the email address, I can send you a response so you won't get in trouble for letting me in. He waved me through. Later, I brought him a Monster Energy drink and some festival swag and thanked him for doing his job so well and being professional. The next story is called I Made It With You. This happened a while ago. I used to work at a restaurant where it required reservations for teppanyaki, where they cook in front of you. I was a hostess and in charge of making reservations, answering phones. I am very thorough. I don't like not knowing what's going on and trusting my word, and everyone else knew that. Thank you for calling. Yes, hi. I made a reservation for teppanyaki at 4. Was told to be here 15 minutes early. Have never told anyone that. Just informing that we are here. Name is Lady. I checked the paper with the current day reservations. Then checked the book for reservations. Then checked next week's date of reservations. I'm sorry, I can't seem to locate your name. Can you tell me when you made the reservation? The lady was already exasperated and pissy. I knew this would happen. You guys always misplace my reservations, but that's why I wrote it down on a piece of paper that proves I made the reservation. I made it for today at this time for 4 people. I made it Monday. I was already having a long day with a no-show host on a busy day with clients staring at me waiting to be seated and the other phone on hold. Listen, we write down all the reservations twice and call to confirm the day off and we triple check everything. When did you make the reservation? I don't like the way you are speaking to me. Maybe if you learned how to do your job, you wouldn't have lost my reservation. But I made it on Monday at around 11. I know how to do my job. I do it every day. Do you happen to remember who you were speaking to, a boy or a girl? At this point, that's a trick question that I always asked in these situations. There's no male host, but it didn't matter. With you. I have written down in my paper it was with you. That's why I asked who I'm speaking to, and that's how I know you didn't write down that reservation. And that's how I know you don't know how to do your job. Let me speak to your manager. Lady, I didn't even work that day. You didn't make a reservation, you are lying, and you are using me as your fall guy. Oh, well, who was working that day? Why, so you can pin the blame on her too? I thought your little paper had all the information. This is a very small version of what happened. The interaction was much longer, and early on I had told her we had space for her group anyway. But she was adamant on getting me in trouble, and that's why I blew up and yelled at her. I didn't get in trouble. Like I said, I was trusted. The manager was more focused on bettering my mood, since having a foul-mooded host is bad. The last story is called Here's Your Money Back. A few years ago I started a small bluegrass festival. I've been building it slowly each year and we got pretty sizable turning out for the day. I decided this year 2019, before the Rona, I'd hire a professional lighting engineer to bring in lasers, smoke machines, all the stuff you'd expect at a bigger show. It's about 5 o'clock and I'm moving around the building, checking in with volunteers and making sure everything is going to plan when a volunteer directs a Karen to me. These lights are too bright, I don't like them, I can't see. She is the only person all day who has had anything negative to say about the professional light show. Oh, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. We've been really excited to have the company do lights for us this year. Well, I demand that they be turned off. Who do I talk to? Well, ma'am, I'm actually in charge here, so you can talk to me. She's obviously a little disconcerted to have some scruffy millennial to complain to, but she presses on. Well, I don't like the lights and I want them off. Well, I'm sorry, ma'am, but everyone else is really enjoying them and you're the only one to complain. If you don't turn the lights off, I'm going to take my money back. I loved that she thought at an event with 1,000 people I'd stop the light show so I could keep her $15. It was great telling her, "Ma'am, I would be so glad to personally give you your money back and you can be on your way." Complete with a grin. Best feeling ever. And with that, we end today's video. Let me know what you think about the stories. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the stories and today's video? I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. And I hope you have a great day. Stay safe. Bye bye.